What's up, Desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm discussing Arnold Classic Mr. Olympia Qualification controversy, what's actually happening now, a heap of physique updates from guys such as Sergio Oliva Jr., Nick Walker, Keone Pearson, George Peterson, and many, many more. The Portugal Pro competitor list has been released, and I've got a preview for it coming up in the next couple of days, plus much more. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with George Peterson, 12 and a half weeks out of the 2021 212 Mr. Olympia. This video is posted up by his coach, Justin Miller, on Instagram, who also works with Keane Williams and many other names. And you've got to say, George Peterson is looking fantastic as always. And he looks right on track for that 212 Mr. Olympia. Now, I'm intrigued to get your guys' opinion on how you think he's actually looking at this point, this far out of the Olympia, because he's in great shape really already, and he'll have no problem actually getting into really, really good condition, as he always seems to on stage. And I mean, going into the 212 Olympia last year, I'd wondered if George would actually come in the same conditioning he used to come in the classic physique, because he really had to kill himself to get down to that weight. He absolutely did that with more muscle tissue than he did in the classic, obviously, and I think that he's going to make more gains again and look even better at this Olympia, and he may move up again in placings as well, and he obviously placed very well last year too. So let me know where you think George Peterson may place at the 212 Mr. Olympia in 2021. In our next story, we've got another guest posing as well from Blessing Awodibu. This one sort of went under the radar a little bit, and he's guest posing at the NPC Southern States, and I pretty much just want to give a shout out to all these competitions that are actually getting guest posers to the contests, and it's been a lot more the last couple of weeks. For whatever reason, I don't know, whether there's just more comps in the US or what, but I really do love to see this, and I hope that it becomes, I suppose, more of a big thing like it was back in the day, because these bodybuilders, it gives them another way to earn money and helps us grow our sport. So shout out to the NPC Southern States. And Blessing Awodibu, in this video, he looks like he's staying in pretty good shape in his off season, because obviously he competed at New York Pro. That was his last contest of the 2021 season. He's coming back, I assume, next year or a year after, with hopefully an even more improved physique where he can challenge for potentially winning one of these shows and to qualify for Mr. Olympia. But let me know what you think about how Blessing Awodibu is looking at this guest posing. In our next story, Samson Dauda, 12 weeks out, I believe it is, of the Arnold Classic UK, looking extremely huge and impressive. Now he's really battening down the hatches now in preparation for that show. And I've got to tell you, I think he's looking really, really good. And he pulls off a front lat spread here as well. I think this is probably one of the tougher poses for Samson, because he does have such a huge frame. And he's a guy that's probably over 300 pounds even in this video, or close to it. And he still looks like he has more room to fill out on that front lat spread. But when you see his other shots and you see how thick he's looking, and I'm assuming he's going to bring great conditioning too now that he's working with John Meadows, I think that he's going to come in at his all-time best, and I think that he will give these guys a push at the Arnold Classic UK. But let me know what you think in the comments about Samson Dauda. Now, another reason why I'm actually bringing up Samson as well is he's working with a women's physique competitor on her posing, and her name is Nadine Phoenix, and her Phoenix is in quotation, so I assume that's not her actual last name. Her name is The Rising Phoenix, obviously spelled differently, there on Instagram. Amazing physique. She has just an amazing, amazing physique. She moves very well. Obviously, working with Samson on posing, that definitely does help, because he's a master poser. But she just looks incredible at this point. I don't know where she's competing next. Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, Nadine, if you watch this as well, let me know in the comments where you're actually competing next, because I think upper body-wise, at least anyway, you are like top 5 women's physique Olympia standard for sure. The only thing is getting those legs lean enough, and if they get lean enough on stage, then you are going to be extremely dangerous for any women's physique competitor out there. But like I said, getting the legs lean enough will be, I suppose, the big thing in terms of like competing at the Olympia or any big shows, because obviously we know Sarah Valagas, who's, you know, current Miss Olympia women's physique, she has some of the most shredded legs in the world right now, not even in just women's physique. She's got absolutely crazy details. So if she can get her legs lean, she's going to be dangerous in any women's physique show she steps into. Now, moving on to the Arnold Classic and the Mr. Olympia qualification implications of what actually might be going down, because it was reported by Ron Harris of Muscular Development yesterday. Then I saw it was re-reported by Nick Strength and Power as well, basically quoting Ron Harris's video on Muscular Development. And basically it said that the Arnold Classic, which is 2 weeks prior to Mr. Olympia this year, obviously it's normally in March, and it's normally a qualifier for obviously that year's Mr. Olympia. Now, it came out that it was going to be a qualifier for the 2022 Mr. Olympia. And everyone thought, okay, well, these guys, you know, maybe like a William Bonac and whatnot, maybe actually doing that show to qualify easily, I suppose, for the next year's Mr. Olympia. And obviously, you can pick up an Arnold Classic title and a very handsome paycheck there as well. But it came out in the comments below the Muscular Development video just today. It says, correction, Ron here, spoke with the IFBB Pro League this morning. Apparently, from the time the Arnold date was announced, the winner of the show was going to qualify for Mr. Olympia 2 weeks later. The men who earn points can use these points to begin qualifying for the 2022 Mr. Olympia. And for all other divisions, Classic, Fitness and Bikini, winners will qualify for the 2022 Olympia and finalists will earn points for that. So it's literally only the winner of the Arnold Classic in the men's open bodybuilding will qualify for that 2022 Mr. Olympia. Now, what I'm wondering, like I said earlier, William Bonac, if he wins this show, he's already qualified for that 2021 Mr. Olympia. I'm sure he would actually rather that be a qualification for 2022 Mr. Olympia. Now, I did say, obviously, that this was always the rules in terms of going into this Arnold Classic, but I didn't hear this reported by anyone. No other big media channels. Everyone was just saying it's qualified for 2022. That's what I read as well. And it was obviously after the cutoff date of when the qualifications sort of begin and end. Now, I'm glad they're not doing the point standings, because obviously if there's guys prepping for the Olympia, thinking they're top 3 and they're qualified on points, and then someone does the Arnold Classic and then kicks them out of the top 3 on points, that would obviously be very unfair. So I'm glad at least that's not happening. But I do find it extremely unusual that they're just choosing the men's open pro bodybuilding winner. Now, I've got to wonder actually why this reason is. Now, is it because Kai Green, they're not going to give him a special invite to the Olympia, and they're just saying, hey, if you come into the Arnold Classic, you win it, we'll give you, obviously, your invite to the Olympia, we'll make this special exemption and put this rule on here? Or is it for a Rolly Winkler? But I believe Rolly Winkler, I have heard rumors of him doing Chicago. I've heard rumors of a few other shows as well. So I don't think it's actually for Rolly. So I find this very intriguing. Obviously, William Bonac's already qualified as well. And you've got to say they're the 3 big front runners. Nick Walker's already qualified. Sergio Oliva Jr. is not qualified yet, but the chances of him winning this show aren't super, super high. So it's really interesting to me that they've actually done this just for the open pro men's bodybuilding, and I believe it's for some sort of a reason. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Why has the Arnold Classic actually done this only for the men's open pro bodybuilder winner? Now, mentioning Sergio Oliva Jr., he posted up these photos in the last 2 days. He posted one of them today and one of them yesterday, looking extremely huge. I'm very, very impressed with the size of Sergio Oliva Jr. at this point. Now, he had a lot going on in terms of his personal life with, trying to open a gym and his own supplement company and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very impressed with the way he's actually looking at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Can Sergio Oliva Jr. potentially win this Arnold Classic and shock everyone? Because he has a lot of muscle, and also he's a taller guy as well. I think he's around 5'11", 6 foot. So when he's standing by himself, he doesn't look as big, but when he stands next to others, you see how big his structure is and how wide he is as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, a guy that he was sort of calling out a little bit to do that Arnold Classic and has actually jumped in there as well is Nick Walker, and he's put up these recent physique updates today as well, looking very, very impressive about 12 weeks out of that Mr. Olympia. Now, one interesting thing that he posted yesterday was a crab most muscular, which we don't normally see him do. Now, he normally does the hands clasped most muscular. I think it's pretty impressive. I really like this shot of Nick Walker. I'm surprised I haven't really seen him do this much or at all before. I don't think I've ever actually seen him do a crab most muscular. Let me know what you think about the crab most muscular on Nick Walker. Also, I think he's very smart as well. He's keeping that waist very, very small and in check as well during his prep. And obviously that short period he had of, I suppose, an off-season between the New York Pro and the Mr. Olympia. But let me know what you think about Nick Walker and how he's looking at this point. Now, I saw this video posted up on Instagram by Keone Pearson today, looking extremely impressive. Straight away, I messaged Keone. I said, when was this video taken? He said it was today. So obviously a very recent physique update. His back looks crazy in this video, and I've got to say I'm extremely impressed. Now, he's only about 1.5 weeks out of that Chicago Pro, where there's going to be actually a lot of good competitors. I've heard a lot of names thrown around. I only have a few confirmed, but there's going to be a lot of good guys there. And one of those guys is John Jewett, who's looking extremely shredded in this latest physique update from him. And it leaves me wondering as well, can John Jewett actually beat Keone Pearson at the 2021 Chicago Pro? Because I think both these guys are, instant top 10 Olympians, at least the way they've been looking. John Jewett is yet to qualify. He'll obviously be hoping to win this show and then qualify for that 2021 Mr. Olympia. But can he do it against Keone Pearson? Because Keone Pearson is perhaps one of the most, I suppose, gifted guys in terms of shape and everything like that. But Keone works hard. If you've watched any of Keone's training videos or anything like that, the dude works extremely hard. And that's why he's been able to make such incredible gains for going from, a smaller classic physique guy to being a Jack 212 guy in the space of like 2 years. So Keone Pearson no doubt works hard, but he's got some great genetics on his side as well. But John Jewett really can bring that conditioning super, super hard. And if he can do that and out-condition Keone, can he win the show? I mean, it's going to be an interesting battle, and I can't wait to see it. And there's a bunch of other really, really good names coming into this show as well. So it's not going to be an easy win for Keone, but Keone is obviously, people are considering him a front runner for that 212 Olympia title as well. Granted that he obviously qualifies for that show. And in our last story, the Portugal Pro competitor list has been released. Some pretty good names on there, but most of them are sort of more of the unknown sort of names. But I can't wait to see how this one actually plays out, because there's about 5 really good European guys in this contest. Actually, really, there's more than 5 good guys in this contest, but 5 guys that I suppose would be contending for the win here. And one of them is Tim Budesheim, who I'm a massive fan of as well, and I can't wait to see how he actually does in this show, but there's a ton of other good names as well. And we're going to get a guy that's going to qualify for the Olympia in 2021. Granted, there's no late entries like a Rolly Winkler or anything like that into this show, but I think there's going to be a guy that qualifies for the Olympia that no one's really expecting, and that sort of makes this show exciting as well. So guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell button because I'm going to have content from the Portugal Pro this weekend. I'm going to be doing a preview in the next 24 to 48 hours on this channel. Also, I'll have a review of the contest, probably the prejudging and the finals as well this weekend. So make sure you do subscribe. Also, if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up and smash that like button as well. And I do have a shout out for this episode too. It's from The Red Loop on YouTube. He or she liked the latest episode of a weekly bodybuilding breakdown with myself, Aaron Pilates, and Michael Galley. Make sure you head over and check that out as well. The link is in the description below for that one. Also, I'll put a little card at the top of the screen right now for that as well. And if we get enough views on that podcast, which is a longer form style rather than these videos, then I will continue to do them. But I need that support, so go there, like that video, comment on it. It all sort of helps towards the algorithm, and share it out as well. So that's it for me. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.